And the apparatus, again, that's the rescue ambulance,
The
correct?
rescue ambulance, in my case.
So you told us that you're positioned in the passenger compartment of the rescue ambulance, and your colleague, Martin Blunt, is the driver, correct?
That is correct.
What are your responsibilities going to be, just briefly, an overview, once you get to the 100 North Carrollwood location?
I'm the team leader, the medical team leader. I'm the radio man, communications. I gather, assess information, and write the reports.
In addition to you and paramedic firefighter Mr. Blunt, do other emergency personnel join you in your response to 100 North Carrollwood?
Yes, Engine 71 with the engineer, the fire captain, a firefighter, and an additional paramedic.
The distance in miles from Station 71, located at Sunset and Beverly Glen, to the 100 North Carrollwood location?
I would guess a mile and a half.
Very short distance, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Let the lights be dimmed.
Thank you. Mr. Senneff, I'd like to go over the information contained on People's Number 43, the teletype that you received prior to departing from Station 71. And I see that there's handwriting on the exhibit as well. Do you recognize that handwriting?
I do. It's my handwriting.
Very well. I'd like to focus your attention right now only on the typewritten information contained on the exhibit. We're going to get to the handwritten information at a later point in your testimony. Is that all right?
That'll be fine.
So starting at the top, the first line, tell me what this information conveys.
Engine 71, Rescue Ambulance 71.
The second line?
The address, 100 North Carrollwood Drive, and the closest cross street, which is Sunset Boulevard.
And the next line, please?
The incident number, it's how we keep track. It's incident number 512.
Yes.
And 512, it's a cardiac arrest. The 1221 is the time the call came into our dispatch center, followed by the date, and 50-year-old male. The next line is the protocol number that the dispatchers, 9, I believe, is cardiac arrest. He is not breathing at all.
So far, this is the information that you've received from the 911 call. Does this information come almost instantaneously at the time that the 911 operator is receiving the information?
Yes, that is correct.
And the next line?
That's the phone number that the call came in from. And that's the radio channel, and that's whose area it is, 71's.
That would be your designation, correct?
That is correct.
And the next line?
The dispatch time when we get the alarm at the station at 12:22.
Now, what's the significance of you hitting the alarm? What does that mean?
I'm sorry?
You said that 12:22 reflects the time that you hit the alarm. Is that correct?
No, that's the time the alarm comes into the station.
12:22?
That's correct. And it's the date, and the other console part, I believe, is the dispatcher who took the call.
Very well. And the next line?
It's a 911 call through a wireless phone. And I don't know what the Beverly Hills PD part, but the query caller means that the caller is still on the phone.
Very well. And on the last two lines means what to you?
It's just the time. It's 911 call where the call originated.
So 12:21:04 is the call originating perhaps through the Beverly Hills PD that was then transferred to the closest responding unit, correct?
Yes, that would be correct.
And then we have information here that is further on down in the timeline related to perhaps activities at UCLA, correct?
Yeah, when we first got there, we need to get a patient identification number for the records, and that's the sticker for the patient identification number, so that's a UCLA sticker.
Very well. May I have the lights, please, Your Honor?
You may.
So you have a certain amount of information concerning the nature of the call, the location where you're to respond to. Paramedic Blunt is driving, you're in the passenger seat of the rescue ambulance, and you all respond to...
Your Honor, is the question?
I'm going to sustain the objection.
You respond to 100 North Carrollwood, accurate?
That's correct.
And when you arrive at the location...
May I ask if this would be a convenient point to take a break?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Before we do, may I just see counsel for a moment? Deputy Jones, thank you. On the Conrad Murray case, the defendant is present with his counsel, the people by their counsel. Firefighter Senneff once again is on the stand. All jurors and alternates once again are present. Good morning again. Good morning again, sir. Do you acknowledge, Firefighter Senneff, you are still under oath and still sworn to tell the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Resumption of direct examination by Ms. Brazil.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Mr. Senneff, when you approached the 100 North Carrollwood residence, did you enter into the gates of the property?
That's correct, through the main gate.
Was the fire truck in front of you when you pulled in?
That's correct. We followed the fire truck.
Did the fire truck remain on the street or come into the residence property?
It remained on the street.
Mr. Senneff, showing you an exhibit previously marked as People's Number 7. This photograph permit you to indicate with your pointer where it is that the rescue ambulance parked when it arrived at Carrollwood?
Yes, the front of the ambulance would have been right here.
May the record reflect the witnesses indicating the area just to the left of the steps in the photograph between the fountain area and the entry.
Thank you.
After firefighter Blunt parked the rescue ambulance, what was the next thing that you did, sir?
I opened the door, stepped out, went to the side door of the ambulance, and opened that up.
What was your purpose for opening up some back area of the rescue ambulance?
To get my rescue equipment.
What time did you arrive at the Carrollwood residence?
12:26.
Once you retrieved your kit, did you then proceed into the residence?
That is correct.
Was there anyone there at the location directing you or assisting you with information as to where you should go inside the residence?
There were multiple security guards. I followed one of them up to the top of the stairs in the house.
Were you the first in a series of rescue personnel going up the stairs as directed by the security personnel?
That's correct.
And you're carrying your...
I was carrying the starter kit.
The starter kit. And what does the starter kit contain?
It's a plastic box similar to a fishing tackle box, and it has medicines in it.
That would be equipment that you need to assist you in your efforts to assist someone, correct?
That is correct.
Once you get to the top of the stairs, where do you go?
Right into the bedroom.
And what do you see when you enter the bedroom?
I see Dr. Murray, I see the patient, and I see a security guard.
Are you aware of the time at this point that you're at the patient?
Yes.
Do you see, you've indicated that you saw Dr. Murray. Do you see Dr. Murray in the courtroom today? And if so, would you please identify him?
Yes, I do. He's seated right here.
Pointing to the defendant.
Thank you, Your
Dr.
Honor.
Murray.
Thank you, Your Honor. And Dr. Murray that you see in court today, you saw him in the bedroom when you entered. Is that accurate?
That's correct.
Did you also see a patient when you entered the bedroom?
I did.
Describe your observations of the patient, please.
The patient was dressed with pajama bottoms, a pajama top. The top was open. The patient was wearing a surgical cap or something similar covering his hair, and he appeared to be underweight to me.
Then, now, when you enter the bedroom and you make those observations, did you also make observations of Dr. Murray at this point?
I did, yes.
Describe for me, please, your observations of Dr. Murray.
As far as what he was doing at that moment or how he was behaving,
When you entered the bedroom, describe for me what Dr. Murray was doing at that point in time?
At that point, he was leaned over the patient. He was holding the patient's torso, and he was moving the patient from the bed to the floor.
Besides Dr. Murray, who else was in the bedroom?
A security person who was also helping to move the patient to the floor.
Did Dr. Murray identify himself as the patient's doctor when you entered?
Yes, he did.
Now describe Dr. Murray's demeanor, please.
Frantic.
Mr. Senneff, take a look at an exhibit previously marked as People's 21, please. Do you recognize what's depicted in that photograph, and if so, how do you recognize it?
I do recognize it. It is the bedroom.
Does that view accurately depict the way the bedroom looked when you entered into it?
Yes, it does.
And if you could use your laser pointer, please, and show me roughly where Dr. Murray was located when you walked in.
He was standing right in this area right here.
And that would be the far side of the bed near what has previously been identified as the nightstands adjacent to the bed. Is that accurate?
That is correct.
What was the next thing that you did once you made your initial observations of a patient and Dr. Murray? He's identified himself as a physician. What's the next step?
I asked whether there was an advanced health care directive, a DNR.
And did someone respond to you?
Not initially, no.
Maybe we put on the lights?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. So you ask if there's a DNR, do not resuscitate order in place?
Correct.
And at this point in time, is Dr. Murray still in the room?
Yes, he is.
Is the security guard that you saw still in the room?
He's left my line of sight. He walked behind me somewhere.
So it's you and you're conversing or directing your questions to Dr. Murray. Is that accurate?
That's correct.
And when you ask about that information regarding a DNR, does Dr. Murray respond to you?
Not initially, no.
Did Dr. Murray say anything to you when you initially walked in?
Well, no. No. He was right at that moment. He was moving and I said, "Is there a DNR?" And he just looked at me.
What was the next thing you did?
Then I repeated the question, and he said, "No, there's nothing. No."
What other observations did you make when you're looking at the environment? You see the patient's on the floor, correct?
That's
and
correct.
You see Dr. Murray. What other observations are you making?
There's an IV stand there with the saline bag or something. There's a medical IV type bag hanging there, and I see the underweight patient, and
There was an IV bag hanging on the IV stand. Is that accurate?
That's correct.
And are you undertaking efforts to begin your efforts to assist the victim?
That's correct.
Well, let me use another term. The partial answer is to disregard. Re-ask. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Describe for me, please, Mr. Senneff, what efforts you are undertaking at this point in time to assist the patient.
I'm trying to gather as much information as I can to find out what exactly the problem is.
And how are you going about that pursuit of gathering information?
I'm asking the doctor questions.
Such as?
What's his underlying health condition?
What did Dr. Murray respond, if anything?
He responded after I prompted him a few times, and he said there is none.
So when you say you prompted him several times, please describe for us what words you used in your pursuit of obtaining information from Dr. Murray regarding the patient's condition.
I asked what his underlying health condition was. He did not respond. I asked again what his underlying health condition was. He did not respond, and then I think it was the third time he